Today I'd like to share with you a little tip about how to describe change in IELTS writing, especially in a diagram. A lot of students have a problem describing change and they get confused between the past simple and the passive. So I'd like to share with you today a little tip on how to make sure you get that correct. So first of all, just have a look at this as it draws up and changes. Can you see the change? Now, IELTS is not quite that cruel. They're not using videos either. This is what will happen in IELTS. You will see the two pictures usually side by side like this, sometimes above and below. So have a look now and check. Just see how you did on that first little guess. How close were you with getting these changes? Can you notice the two big changes there? So first of all, the obvious change is that the residential homes have replaced the bush on the western side of the city, and also that the office buildings in the centre have got bigger. But the obvious change is the bush being replaced by buildings. So note how this person describes that change. The native trees and bush in the west of the city were replaced by residential homes. That's perfect. That's a good way to describe it. Now that's an example of using the passive voice in the past. So the structure is the noun phrase, which in that case was native trees and bush on the left picture, and then was replaced by, sorry, not was, were, because it's plural. There's two things, trees and bush, were replaced by residential homes. You could also, if that picture of the city was in the future and it was a future plan, you could use the future passive as well. So then let's say, for example, it was Dunedin City in 2020. Then we would simply write the native trees and bush in the west of the city will be replaced by residential homes. Now there is another way to describe this, and we see that the picture is describing from the past, present, two times in the past. Now the second way of describing this change is written above in the blue there. So residential homes replaced the native trees and bush in the west of the city. Now this is the past simple. So this is the easier way to describe it actually. So we talk about the noun phrase the same as before, the residential homes, but then we're going to say replaced the native trees and bush in the west of the city. So we notice the change there. We're talking about residential homes and native trees and bush are changing places. Now that might not seem important, but it really is quite, because if you don't get that correct and you write as it's been written in the red here, residential homes were replaced by the native trees and bush in the west of the city. Now that grammar is fine actually, but the meaning is completely the opposite and it's going to look like this. So now you see that the person has not described the change at all. In fact, they've said the opposite. So it's really important that you get that correct. I hope you found that helpful. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you'd like to see more videos, IELTSTEVE on YouTube or IELTSTEVE at Facebook. I'm doing these because I would like to share my experience with students. So if you have any particular needs, get in touch with me. I do one-on-one online classes, or we can organize group classes. If you have a group of friends, get them together and get in touch with me. I've got 12 years experience. This is what I do. My job is to help you get your IELTS score.